broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I saw a friend today, it had been a while,
Such a pretty voice.
and we forgot each other's name.
Well, we're not going to forget your name, everybody. We are here today at Spotlight On at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Lauren Leonelli. We've got
Jenifer Golden
here with me, and we are talking to Creed Bratton. Yay!
Thank you, lady.
We've got him here. This is his song. This is his. We would say this is like your favorite song of yours. Is that what you're saying?
It's the one that gives me a lot of satisfaction because it was the finale for The Office.
Yes.
It was the first song I wrote after I left the Grassroots. In fact, I was sitting around living in Malibu in a place called Ramirez Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And by the fire, and the baby was there in the bassinet, and my wife was cooking dinner, and all of a sudden I'm playing the guitar, and she says, "That's a great song. Who wrote that song?" And
I did?
And I said, I think I just did. So I played it again, and it came out lyrics and melody and all the chords all at once. Just
Wow, that's not
all together.
normal, right?
No,
No.
it's not normal.
It's usually a
all
long
at the same
process,
time.
right?
Sometimes it comes like that, but this was one that just came just all together like that.
That's
and it still holds weight. It's got legs.
That sounds ideal, like in Malibu by the fire with the baby
How
and the
dreamy.
bassinet and the wife cooking. I mean,
It was a good life.
it sounds like it was. And I know, Creed has, obviously we know him. Jen and I covered Grace and Frankie here at AfterBuzz TV, so we've seen him on that. And of course, most people know him from The Office. But Creed has a very colorful past in history. And we could focus on The Office all day because we literally could talk about Creed, the character of Creed, on The Office for days on end. But there's so many other fun things that you Creed fans might not know about that we're going to get to today. Because there is a lot. I mean, even just you talking about writing that song, I know that you've said before that sometimes you don't even know what you're writing when you write a song, and it doesn't even make sense until like 2 years later.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, sometimes you don't know. The muse just gives it to you.
I like that. And so, okay, well, we'll start. Let's start kind of from the beginning. You were a child.
I was a child.
You were a
You
child
were
at
once
one
a
point
child?
in your
I
life.
actually started out as a teenager.
He actually-
You're like Benjamin Button.
He
Just a
wasn't.
little
I was
bit
going to
there,
say
yeah.
he wasn't like Benjamin Button, but when you were a child, you lived in the Yosemite area,
Yes,
correct?
uh-huh.
And you were in a family filled with musicians.
Correct.
So you kind of just felt like you thought that everyone knew how to play music.
That's
Is that
right.
right?
That's right.
And how did you start? What did you start with the guitar? Because that's what you play.
Trumpet.
Oh, really?
I played the trumpet for several years. I was first chair through high school. All the freshman year, first chair, I stayed that way.
Okay.
I played classical, jazz, dance band, marching band.
So-
When I was 13, I got a guitar because my grandfather played guitar in a semi-professional band.
Okay.
And I ordered from Sears a guitar. Sears called a Silvertone guitar, and it came in a case. And on the case there was a speaker, and there was amplifier inside the case.
Oh, no way.
So you'd open the case, take out the guitar,
Plug it in.
plug it into the case,
How
and
cool.
plug the case
How
into the wall.
convenient.
Do you still have that guitar?
No,
Oh,
I wish I
damn.
did. But they're out there though.
That's
It's a
pretty cool.
It's a collector's item.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
What made you start with the trumpet then?
Well, they didn't obviously had guitars in elementary school.
And then you knew, like, how am I going to get all the chicks? I got to play the guitar. That had to
no,
be
I was listening to KFWB, B. Mitchell Reed on a crystal set, and you kids won't know about the crystal set.
No, what is that?
What is that? Tell us.
It's a crystal set. It's a little tiny radio transistor.
Okay.
Made very, very simplistic with one little thing that fits in your ear, not stereo, just not even two, just one. And you go,
and like tune it.
yeah, tune it, and all of a sudden, boom, it pops in. You know?
So you
yeah.
you turn the knobs until you hear something,
Till
and then you
hear
stop.
Yeah, stuff. There's nothing on it. Yeah, exactly. But I heard all
Wow.
the music, and then my mom said I picked it up by ear. I was just played it by ear. Yeah.
So you think that? I mean, we've seen your talented acting skills, but do you think that that's like your your thing, music, like, or no? You're just an artist, do you think?
I think just an artist, because I find if I'm out on the road for a while playing new songs or recording new songs, when I do an acting part, I find that I've invested in the music. It shows in the acting, and vice versa. If I'm doing a really good acting part, next time I emote on a song, it's improved too. So they
Interesting.
They work hand in hand.
They work hand in hand.
Do you think it also just is a testament to your work ethic? Like you just strive to work hard at each thing that you do? Because you also work behind the scenes too.
Yeah.
You've sort of done it all.
I have done a lot of stuff. I'm a very self-sufficient, driven man. I have high work ethic. I always have. Even when I was a young kid, I never stopped working.
Even with all the acid?
Well,
We're gonna talk about that.
That's another kind of work. That's inner work.
You know what, though? We could say that was research-based work, because how you needed that extra artistic push to help you write the songs in the 60s. I mean, come on.
Well, but the thing is, ladies, that a lot of people didn't, come back from that stuff.
Right.
A lot of people got damaged. But
That's
I'm
true.
one of the lucky ones that I was able to go to the other side of the veil and glean some little introspection, and then I'd come back and everything was just
Normal?
Yes.
Oh, you.
There he went, and he's back. Welcome back.
Creed.
Oh, gosh.
Just doing that Creed
Oh,
thing.
yes, exactly.
But you have said, too, that you're a little disappointed that you never had an acid flashback.
I paid good money for that acid, and I think I deserve an acid flashback, right?
I think
How
so.
do you get a
I don't.
flashback?
Well,
People
just
say,
you're
like,
driving down the road, and all of a sudden there's penguins going through your windshield. That's what most of my friends have.
First of all, when you did acid, okay, so let's get to the acid in just a second, but let's get there through your timeline. Like when you graduated college, you got on a boat. You went on a.
I never graduated. Actually, I had 8 units left to graduate in drama. 8 units left. All of a sudden, one day I had almost an epiphany and almost like a nervous breakdown in drama class, and I said, I know that I can do this thing. I know and I'm talking to my acting coach. He said, you just need more life experience. And I went, I do. So I had an Austin Healey, a 54 Austin Healey with a Le Mans engine, aluminum engine, electric overdrive. It was coveted by this guy in town I knew. Called my friend Mickey Miguel at San Francisco State and said, hey, I'll pay I don't want to go alone. You want to go to Europe? And that's it. Our girlfriends took us in a car to Needles, California.
Yes.
Dropped us off. The very first car that drove up took us to our hotel in New Orleans.
Really?
And then we got on the freighter for 28 days. And ended up I was in St. Mark's Square in Venice. I had been drinking all night, playing guitar for these people, and I woke up
on the ship,
covered with pigeon shit.
No, that's amazing.
Yes, it's true.
Hey, not a bad
story.
way to wake. I mean, sometimes I wake up in my bed like, what the? I'd rather be there, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want pigeon shit on me.
I know,
No.
but I mean, it's kind of an epic story.
Yeah.
It's better than when your liver is over there having a cup of coffee and staring at you. You get back in the body.
Yeah,
kind of
you're
thing.
like, get over here and start working again.
Exactly.
That's crazy. So you're in Europe with your friend, Mickey.
Right, Mickey.
And are you...
Mickey Miguel.
Mickey Miguel.
What a name.
I know. That sounds made up.
Portuguese guy.
Okay. And you're just like, let's go... What was your goal getting there? You just wanted to experience
He wanted
life.
to go score with the Scandinavian girls.
That was his goal? Even
That
though
was
he had a
his goal.
girlfriend?
Well,
No,
yeah.
he was just like, whatever.
He was a guy,
How old were you? When you did
23, I guess.
Oh, jeez. And wait, hold on. I have to go backwards for a second. Why the F did you get on a freight boat?
Because that's all I could afford.
Okay. Do you remember how much it was?
It wasn't very much at all. I
And
paid for both our ways, and we had food.
And they were allowed to do that? Like you just
There
got
was like 6 people that could be passengers. 6 people, and the rest of just crew. And every night we ate with the captain.
Really?
And they
That's
just
really cool.
Was it fun or was
no,
it like...
it was just horrible.
Did they put you to work?
No.
Because you bought a ticket, so
But
you're
we'd
like
get
there.
so drunk and bored that we would climb out of the ship at night when the ship was going like this. And the little things that come out like this, the handles outside
Yeah.
the portholes?
Yeah.
We'd climb out like this and we'd go and we
No.
work our way, hang on.
It's fallen off.
Oh yeah, we could have killed ourselves numerous times, but that's
It's amazing that you're here right now having this interview with us.
I'm not here right now.
Or not.
We're actually on acid, and
This
we are
is actually
imagining
Imagine that I'm
you
the
are a
creative
penguin.
This
here.
is a hallucination.
You are a penguin.
That everyone gets
that's
in
right,
on.
that's right.
So now you're in. Where did you end up in your first stop?
Venice, and then we
Okay.
hitched. Then we stowed away because I had $25 when I arrived.
Oh my God.
See, this
That's
is why
it.
you should write a book because
$25,
I just
and it
kinda
was
wanna
gone.
Learn how
Next
to
day it
travel.
was
Like,
gone.
I'm sure you buy a couple drinks.
Yeah, oh
and-
yeah, it was gone. So we stowed away on a train. We ended up in Copenhagen, and I met this girl, and then Mickey, for some reason, got frustrated with the whole thing. And after 8 days, he flew back. His parents sent him
and left you all by yourself.
Left me by myself.
And there was no part of you that was like, "Am I doing the right thing?" Or you're just like, "I got to keep going."
oh, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Wait, he left you after 8 days at your destination,
Yep.
but he had made it through the 28-day
Yep.
journey to get there.
And he
Yes.
was taking the 28-day thing back too.
No,
No, he flew
he
back.
flew back. He flew
he
back.
flew
He
back.
flew back. So I did the same thing. I went down to Munich because I spoke a little German. I'd studied it for a year in school, and I went there and I started to work in a electronics factory. And I worked there about 4 months. And I met these two guys out in front of the American Express, Greg Fitzpatrick and Leroy Zimmerman.
Memory.
And they had a banjo and a guitar, and they were playing a greenback dollar, I remember. And I went, He said, what? I said, let me. I'm not showing up. That's how it goes. They went, oh, you should come with us. You could play. And I said, He said, we're leaving tomorrow at 12 noon, and we're gonna hitchhike all the way to the Sudan.
Oh my
He
God.
says, can you imagine? There'll be lions and giraffes and elephants, and we'll be hitchhiking and playing music. And I went, let me think about it. So I couldn't sleep that night. I stayed up. Very next morning, I went to the bank, took my money out, went to a army surplus, German equivalent of that, bought boots, a big anorak, which is a big parka with a big fur collar, a guitar, and I met them there. And I said, let's go, guys. And then
Were
we
you
stayed.
scared?
No, I was 23. I'm
Yeah.
not scared at that day. You're fearless,
Talk about
Okay.
life experience that you gained.
I mean, geez.
Within over 2 years we spent,
Wait, so from that point on, you were with these guys for 2 years, just like
I was with them for about a year and a half and about 6 months on my own.
Wow.
We parted after this movie in Israel called Cast a Giant Shadow.
okay.
And then I got my draft notice.
Oh, so
'cause I was
they
out of
still
college.
find you over there? How the hell?
Well,
did
because
they...
I told everybody where I was. I wasn't
Okay.
trying to run away from
No,
anybody.
of course,
Right.
but I would just think it would get lost, and then he's out of the country.
But I
so-
was with this beautiful girl in Greece, in Rhodes and Crete. In fact, that's how I got my name.
we wanted to ask you how you
Yes.
got your
Okay,
name.
so she's gone back to school, and I'm in Athens, and I'm planning to hitchhike over to Berlin to take my physical and see what happens. I meet these two, man and woman, a couple from Oregon. They are English majors, and they're going to the Isle of Crete to teach English to the Cretans.
Okay.
And I told them, they said, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm a drama major. I said, in college, I was a drama major and I played music. But I see myself going back and be having success as an actor and musician. And I always saw it
Yeah.
in my third eye, in my mind's eye.
Right.
Rather. They said, what's your name? And I said, Chuck Ertmoed. And they went, I'm sorry, what was that? They said, and I told them the story, but people would make fun of me because this is my stepdad's name, right?
Of course, yeah.
William Charles Schneider is my real
Is
name.
your real name, yeah.
So Chuck Ertmoed, people, hey, Ertmoed.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
They put their
And
finger
you're like,
down
that's
through it.
not even fair. That's not
So
even my name.
they said, you can't do it. And I went, you're right.
Yeah.
So we decided to give me a name. Cut to next morning, pension there, hung over from Anisette. Anisette, yeah. Hung over from Anisette.
Uzo? No
And-
Uzo? I'm sure there was Uzo.
Excuse me, that's right.
Oh, was it Uzo?
Uzo.
I was going to say, I just
Uzo.
assumed you were
no,
drinking Uzo.
Uzo was it.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right.
but how could you remember?
Both.
It doesn't. I just
It's okay. I'm just still working.
There he went.
So there's a tablecloth on the floor, and then all these names through it and with crossed out, and one name circled, Creed Bratton. I went, oh, apparently that's my new name.
And you just went with
So
it.
I took it, cut it out, I didn't have it. Maybe I cut it. Maybe I chewed it out. I don't
Yeah.
know how. I got it out. I got it out of the tablecloth, threw it in my rucksack, and when I got to Los Angeles, I was taking my rucksack out, and this thing fluttered out, and I went, "This is my new name." That's a true, honest to God,
That's
true story.
crazy.
That's a good story.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a good name too. I wonder if you thought of it, or if they thought of it, or if
But
it's
I
a
don't know.
collaborative
We were
effort,
drinking.
or the Ouzo thought of it.
I like the mystery. You're just like, today my name is this.
And I didn't tell anybody because I was still doing this Chuck until we signed the deal with Dunhill Records, and all of a sudden I went
With Grassroots, or
the grassroots
Okay,
signing
yeah.
the grassroots contract with Dunhill Records. I'm going to write Chuck Ertmoed, and I go, "Oh yeah," and they went, "Who the hell is this
Yeah.
guy?" And I said, "That's me now." And then they start thinking,
Yeah, what's this guy up to?
What's this guy about?
Did you
love
have
that.
it legally changed?
Oh yeah, everything's legal now. It's been that way for years.
Not that, then it was just the signature, and that was like making it official.
Yeah, but just making it official. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, Creed is such a good name too. I kind of want to steal it and maybe use it.
You can be Creed Bratton. if you want.
Not for myself.
There's about 3 on Facebook and several on
Really?
Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah, they just say they are.
Yeah.
It makes me a little nuts, but what can I do?
But we have the real deal here.
We have the
folks.
real deal. Also, it's cool that people like want to be you.
I mean,
I
why
guess.
would they not?
I guess. But if
I-
they could get in my head when I'm in that space, no, they wouldn't want to be there.
Well,
Maybe they might.
I think
might.
that we could beg to differ on that.
All right.
I've heard you've like helped people creedify themselves.
How
Like,
do we
from
do that?
Coming to shows that you've done in the past. How do we creedify ourselves?
I think it comes. It's a gift. It's a gift that I have. That you know how old blues musicians, when they go to the crossroads at midnight and they sign their soul over to the devil.
Sure.
Okay.
This happens
Sounds
with
like-
musicians.
okay.
When I went there, he signed his soul to me, and that's not something I'm proud of.
But
it's just something that
it's just
happened.
something that
And then I have the power to creedify people. now.
Okay.
Cool.
And not always in a good way.
No,
I mean, I
well,
think that, yeah.
now I'm a little afraid. Are you doing it to us now?
I feel it.
I could, but I like you guys, so I'm not going to do
Well, then
that.
we'll maybe wait
Yeah.
to creedify ourselves. But I am intrigued on creedifying myself.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I.
It's kind of like a calcification, and you get older. When you get older, it's a little easier to do.
Oh my God, that's funny. So now you're having fun in Europe, and you're hanging out, and then how did Grassroots come along? You didn't have to go off to Vietnam, thank God.
No, I was. My father had died when I was 2 in the war, and I had a broken eardrum. It's all these things. So they said no, and they kind of were a little angry. The army guys said, "I said I'm here," and they said, "Well, we can't take you. Get out of here."
Because you can't. You have to be all
Well,
hearing
you
and
have
seeing
to hear, you have to, but more. I think than that, it would have healed. But if you're a only child of an officer in the war, and you're the only child, and he dies, then they will not take you.
No, I didn't know that.
Because then your family
Then
doesn't have stops.
they'll keep the lineage on.
Interesting. Is there a chance you could maybe raise your chair? We've gotten notes for technicalities.
we need to see.
Your-
Creed's gonna fix himself.
Yes.
We could have done right off the bat too.
I mean, I think maybe you might just be creedifying the chair.
I-
It's sinking its way away from you out of fear.
Levitating and lowering.
Wow!
Yeah,
There's some blues.
and yeah. And
How
he's
about
got-
that, my dear? Is that Marissa? Oh, she's happy with that.
Excellent.
Good. Thank you, Marissa. Thank
so
you for
glad
making
you're
sure everyone
happy.
can see him. We'll let you know if you sink down.
If I sink down again,
into the
maybe I was
depths of
doing
hell.
that sinking spine thing.
You could, I think, might have been happening. So, so you get into Grassroots, you meet these guys, you start playing. Did your life just did it just change like that once you're with these guys, you get a hit, and all of a sudden you're 25 years old or whatever? You must have just
25.
been like living the dream at that point.
It was in the 60s, Summer of Love at that time, 67, 68. It was the best bite of the apple.
I'm
It
sure.
What a
was.
great time.
We were playing with everybody, and taking it for granted.
I'm sure.
No, I don't take it for granted. No, I know how lucky and truly blessed I was.
Yeah.
And still am.
Yeah, of course.
And what a life. And so,
Were you acting also at the same time as
creedify you.
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry.
Were you acting also while you were doing music at the same
Yes,
time? Or?
I always have been. I've always bounced back and forth between the two of them. I couldn't give up one or the other.
But during that time, you were obviously focused.
Oh, well, at that time, I was all about the rock and roll.
Yeah,
I mean,
how
my God,
could you? Yeah,
could not.
How could you not be all about the rock and roll?
It was pretty great.
What was like one of your most epic moments or memories with the Grassroots?
I think the story about the acid story of dropping my pants. Everybody's heard that one.
Wait, I don't know if I know that one.
Everyone's heard the story.
All right.
What thing made me really happy? We played Oxnard, and I can tell you a good one. This is an acid story too.
Good.
We
perfect.
played keeping the theme going, folks.
Yeah, that's what we
keeping
like.
the theme going. We're at the Miami Pop Festival, and Spanking Our Gang, and everybody was there. It was 50,000 people.
Jeez.
And it was the first one of the first really big concerts, you
right.
know. And it might have been Devonshire Down. We played there with Hendrix and everybody.
God, that's crazy.
I can't believe that was before or after. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
All those things blur.
Right.
Because we're doing a lot of drugs.
I'm sure.
Doing a lot of drugs.
It's probably better that way.
So
you could even make it up.
We did the show, and I learned my lesson not to drop before the show. You drop after the show.
How you learned your lesson because you did it?
I did at the Fillmore one time.
How
yeah.
the hell did you do a show on acid?
I didn't.
Oh, no.
All right. Real quick, I'll do the story.
Okay.
We were playing at People's Park, Ricky and I on drums. And the road manager comes up and says, time to go to the show. It's getting dark. Come on, guys. And we got your clothes there. So we're starting to run to the car, and this little girl, kind of reminds me of you, except it's in the 60s. She's got a little flower on her cheek, little gingham thing, cute, sweet. She goes, she has a little piece of paper with a little blue dot. She goes, for you. And I said, I'm sorry, for you. Exactly like that. And I go, oh, she said, it's Osley. And so she gives one to Ricky and I. And we're walking the car, and I take it down, get in the car. And
you didn't really know what you were doing, or you did?
I thought, I've smoked some strong dope. How powerful could acid be? He says, he said, we should probably take this after the show. And I went, yeah, that's probably a better idea. But I didn't tell anybody that I had.
Yeah, too late.
So the show comes on, and
how fast does it kick in, by the way? Because I've never.
It takes a while. It takes a while. It takes about 45 minutes.
All of a sudden, then you're like, what the hell?
So we get there and we change and we walk on, and Bill Grimm said, in Los Angeles, they're the Grassroots. I don't think he liked us that much. There they are, the Grassroots. So I'm starting to play. I'm starting to come out with the guitar, and all of a sudden I might look at my hands. And there's like color, vortexes of color.
Or like the tracers?
Tracers in my hand like this, and pretty soon I'm God's accordion player. And I'm just going, wow, look at this stuff. And I hear this, Creed, play. And I look, what? Play.
Oh my God.
And I go, So I grab my guitar, and the neck starts bending like this. Oh, jeez. And it's like, there's, and I'm looking like this, oh my God. So I try to go, the riff, and I look at the speaker back here, the amp, and out comes a cartoon staff paper with the notes that I've just played on it, and then the notes fall to the ground.
How the hell does this happen?
And I walk over to it, and I look, and I go, oh, and I try to.
They fell down.
They fell down, and I try to sweep them up, and they're going, what the hell is he doing? So anyway, I ended up couldn't play. I dropped my pants too. I dropped my pants and little old blue dance in the breeze.
Okay.
Then walked off the stage.
Okay.
It pays to advertise, girls.
Hey, sex
sells. Best when you're young.
Yeah.
Best when you're young.
Yeah.
So.
That is crazy.
So anyway, cutting back to the other story, we waited, and Michael Alsop, I believe was his name, the guitar player for Three Dog Night. Mm-hmm. He and I were friends at the time, and we dropped acid. So we're sitting there at the side of the stage, and the Turtles are playing, Flo and Eddie, and Howard Kalin and Mark Volman. Now Mark Volman had a big afro hair, and he had a big medallion with points on it like this.
Sounds very 70s, 60s, 70s.
Very 60s, Yeah. And so it was kind of like before Run DMC. Not a grandfather's clock. Just a medallion, but a big one. Medallion. Imagine me and you. I think about you day and night. Medallion swinging. It's only right that they conk. Medallion swings around while he's dancing, kicks in his hair, catches his hair. He starts to pull it, gets it worse. It's down there. And he's still singing. I can't help it. And the road manager comes out with scissors.
No.
And he tries to cut it, and he's hitting him.
He's like, don't cut my fro.
Don't cut my fro. He's trying to cut it out.
Yeah.
So Michael and I, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. We are dying, and he looks over at me, and I'm going,
Yeah.
We're on stage from the side,
Right.
howling, just
Of
howling.
course.
Everyone's laughing.
How could you not?
It was the funniest thing I ever.
my
That was
gosh.
one of the funniest
That was
things
a
I've
fun
ever
moment.
seen. You know.
I have a quick question about the acid story, though. So, is that something you remember vividly, or is it that you somebody told you what you were doing?
No, I remember it very vividly.
Oh.
It was because it was a heightened state of awareness that I'd never had before. So.
I just don't understand how a drug can alter your state of mind so that you're seeing musical notes come. Like, how does that? How does it
it's
work
an
that way?
hallucinogenic.
It's just so crazy to me. To even
sounds cool.
If I'm meditating sometimes, not to this day, it's not because of acid. I mean, if you meditate, you can be outside of yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
observe yourself. I do that when I'm meditating.
Okay.
And it was just a precursor to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you also have to be. You have to be the type of person that's aware or open to that.
And I, by the way, had never ever done any drugs to escape or to hide at that time. I was always on a spiritual quest. I'd read all the books and Be Here Now and Autobiography of a Yogi. I was in there, and I'd go off and I'd fast for 12 days and 14 days up in the mountains.
So you were into it before it became a thing, even.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Trendsetter over here, Creed.
So
that's probably why you were able to do stuff like that and come back to
and still be lucid.
Because
Normal.
there's no
you
way.
had a goal to get something more from it versus just run with it.
I wanted to be a fantastic human being.
That's a good goal.
I think you are.
No, they say I'm interesting.
I heard you were the most interesting man.
Me and the Dos Equis guy,
Right.
and I'm going, okay, interesting is good, but fantastic would be better. So I'm still relatively not young anymore, but I can still hope that I can become fantastic in a few more years, maybe 10, 15 years.
What do you think you need to do? Like, do you feel like there's
I don't
things
know. What
that
do you think?
haven't? I don't know.
Maybe creedify myself more.
Creedify yourself.
Creedify yourself.
Yeah.
Levitate above yourself.
Levitate above myself.
Right.
Maybe that's what I was doing for the seat here.
Maybe you were. It was.
We're actually just playing tricks on you.
I thought you were sinking into the depths of hell, but maybe not.
No, he can take a joke.
So how did you go from
the Dark Lord has a sense of humor.
That's what I was getting at.
Yes.
How did you go from there to the office?
Okay, cut to the grassroots, go from the grassroots, and then go for 30 years approximately.
Because there was, to interject for a second, a chunk of time where you sort of weren't, right? Like it was like the 80s to 2000 where you weren't doing music that much. Like
I was writing and playing with bands all the time, and you can look at the IMDb. I was doing film and television shows.
It was out of.
But nothing that anybody noticed. Huge.
Right,
Exactly. That's the thing. I wasn't a public guy. I was still working. I was a working actor,
of course,
and a working musician.
Right.
And struggling doing all kinds of different jobs. You know. But I was working on Bernie Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken Kwapis came on to direct the episode, and I really hit it off with this guy. I heard he was doing it was originally called The Office American Workplace. And I called him. He gave me his number. He's a grassroots fan, and we were talking a lot about music and stuff. And I said, I love that show, the Ricky Gervais English one. I just love it. What do you think? I think I should be. He said, well, you're really interesting.
See, it started then.
You're a very interesting guy. He said, he talked to Greg Daniels, and he said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you in the background and see, and I can't promise you anything, but we'll see if we can work you in.
Wow.
2 weeks into we only shot 6 episodes the first season.
Right.
2 weeks in, I realized that there were so many talented young kids on this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a cast we have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing cast. And by the way, without that cast, I couldn't have had anybody to bounce off to do this stuff. It takes the team to do it.
It's a team for sure.
So I go, okay, I'm going to be noticed. So I created a character based roughly on what would have happened if I had stayed drinking, doing drugs, doing all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I hyped him up to like a kind of a tuning fork that's a little bit cracked. Right. And I borrowed some faces from the Ballard Street cartoon, which is one of my funny things. I got the facial expressions from Ballard Street. And that's I had a plan. This is my plan. This is what I think is going to work for me. and I shot an hour's worth of stuff with my friend Joe Moore.
Okay.
We cut it down to 5 minutes, and I just kept ad-libbing, and we just picked the stuff that I thought was really, really good. I said, okay, this is it. Didn't tell anybody.
Okay.
I didn't tell anybody I'm doing this. This is what I'm going to do. Came in third or fourth week and handed it to Greg and Ken Quapis.
Okay.
A couple of weeks later, the UPM comes up and he says, wow, he said, everybody really thinks you're funny and loves this thing. And so
Wow.
6 episodes, we come back for season 2. There's a script on my desk.
No.
It's Halloween. 6.5 pages with Steve Carell.
Wow.
And had you named yourself Creed Bratton on the show, or did they decide we're just going to name it you?
They decided to go with it.
But was going with what you had shot and
Yeah,
created and
yeah,
said, this is my idea for who I want to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you living out.
I talked about my grassroots days on
I love
it,
it.
and that I was psychic, and I had basically my character was in acquisitions. I said the guy was in acquisitions. I said, like Jim will come over, and I know he wants a stapler, so I just throw it over my shoulder before he comes to me, because I know up here.
Yeah, it's like, how
It
did you
scares.
know
I said
want
it scares a lot of the other office workers, but I'm fine with that. And it talked about just it was insane. You can see it on buzz.com or no, what's it called? What's that show called? Do we know what that show's called, Marissa?
Is it BuzzFeed or something? Or is that? Or
BuzzFeed.
I will look it up.
Look it up. It's on the. You can Google me on that thing.
And that's an interview or?
Your audition?
It's Creed audition.
Oh, the
tape.
audition. That's right.
We
Yeah.
find out. But while she's doing that, we can
Proceed.
Yes, of
push
course.
on.
I hope we can find that.
But that's pretty big that you created your own opportunity like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I tell actors all the time: find your weaknesses or your strengths, and shoot it.
Of course.
And not too people, they just don't want to do this stuff. They get scared. Don't get scared, kids.
Exactly. Like you can't make the fear-based decision. You got to just do what you feel is right for you and take the chance.
Absolutely.
No risk, no reward,
Yep.
right?
And look what you got out of that.
And look.
And even now, parts that I find that I want to get into are the ones that I can really fail at, because if nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Right.
If there's nothing out there that can hurt you, what's the point?
That's true.
You sound pretty fantastic. I mean, it's great to strive for further fantasticism, but you sound like a fantastic person as is.
So you mean I could possibly get there with be more than interesting?
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. I think you already passed that interesting point.
I think that we should make a new name.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
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 Like, what's above fantastic? I feel like that maybe that's what you strive for now, because you're at fantastic.
I think you're definitely at fantastic. We could,
Well, let's ask the people out here in the audience. What do you think,
Guys.
gang?
Hey, guys.
if you're listening, watching, give us some
He's
suggestions.
writing something down there.
We
Go ahead,
need-
just pass.
Oh, here. Oh,
Thank you.
this is happening, guys.
Oh, it's an imaginary piece of paper.
What does it say?
It says nothing because it's an imaginary piece
Don't
of
let
paper.
the words fall off onto
Oh,
the desk.
no.
Sweep them
Okay.
up. Sweep them up.
Thank you.
Oh.
Ta-da! A little joke, a
We'll
little
get there.
magical joke.
We can't even say, because your journey is still happening. So maybe that's something that we see in the future.
Yeah.
What is above fantastic? Maybe you make your own name up, like a Creedism or something.
Do you meditate?
You know what, Creed? That's actually a very interesting question.
Not fantastic question.
Not a fan. No, actually, well,
That's interesting.
it's
That's
an
fine.
interesting.
It's fine. I'm okay with that still.
Interesting's good.
Yes.
When I was little, I was like 4 or 5. I've told you the story. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I remember I was in my grandma's house and I walked up to a mirror and I got real close to it and I had a mantra and everything. And I meditated I got to the point where like you realize that your soul is separate from your body and you're kind of like outside of yourself. And it was a very just like no noise in my mind. And I used a mantra, I guess. I didn't realize then.
How old were you?
I was probably like 4 or 5.
Wow.
And I remember it. Like, I totally remember it because it was a very intense, specific moment of my life and a feeling. And then I remember I could do it. So I remember I thought that I just needed a mirror and a mantra. So I can remember doing it one other time where I walked up to a mirror and just got in front of it, said the mantra, and like that, I was in a meditative state because I knew how to do it. And I can just kind of remember those 2 incidents. And I didn't know that that's what I was doing until I was like 17 years old when we were reading Siddhartha in my senior year in English class.
Yeah.
My teacher, who was kind of reminds me of you. He was like very meditative, and he was also my swim coach. So I knew him on a personal level, and I didn't even know of him like this. He was this meditative Zen guy. And as he's explaining what it is to meditate, I'm like, did that when I was little. I didn't know that that's what it was, and I even think I forgot about it until that point. So I have meditated before, but I haven't done it since then. Yeah, I probably should try.
I'm not saying that. I'm just curious. That was just a.
Curiosity. I know. I want to do it now that you're talking about it. I want to
there's a big theory too that there's it's the dangers of drugs. Is that you're trying to get to that place, trying to get the place, and you're breaking down the wall way too fast before you're ready. Oh. And you're breaking through the dross and etheric webs, as it were. Okay. And you can damage yourself, and then you just open yourself up for you get weak.
That makes sense.
So right now I feel it's just, and I'm not pontificating about any of this stuff at all. I just personally, I just try to keep the straight and narrow. And just slow increments like this, rather than go and then
Yeah, you have to be careful with it.
Very, very careful.
Yeah.
You know? How long do you meditate for when you meditate?
20 minutes.
Okay. Do you do it every day? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you a mantra person or a visualization person?
It's more. It's personal. I'm kind of like it's you know what deism is. Forefathers of our country, Jackson and. Hamilton, all these people, they were deists. Okay. And it was my mind is my own church kind of thing. Okay. They didn't believe in organized religion. They felt everybody saw God in their own way. Right. And that's the way they. And I've always kind of.
That's how you.
Yeah.
Do too.
Yeah. So it's private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I love that though. I mean, Creed over here is like trendsetter before the trend started, right? I mean, meditating.
I guess.
I think that you should take credit for that, and that's what's bringing you to this fantastic level that you are currently at.
Yeah.
And I am not just saying that. That is really.
It's true. Two people voted, so it's obvious.
We vote, and we think you should be a fantastic.
There he is.
Oh, here.
Here we go.
Okay.
About 8 years right now. My real name really doesn't matter. I'm the go-to guy. Acquisitions, they just call me the guy. Basically, I have it's an advanced metaphysical ability, almost a sixth sense, as it were. People come to me with an acquisition slip. I'll hand them an order form before they even get there. Many times, Jim, he'll be sitting over, he'll start to walk over, and I'll just take a stapler and I'll throw it on my shoulder like this. He'll catch it, because he knows that I already know what he wants. This has been going on for years. I think it frightens a lot of the other employees. I'm fine with that. And Michael Scott, though, is not the least bit intimidated by any of these abilities of mine. Michael, he's just kind of he's a weird duck, and he doesn't find it appealing if anyone else makes jokes in the office. The other day I walked by and I stuck my head and say, "Hey, Mike, when are you going to get the Water Boys back together again?" And he just looked at me like nothing was happening. I realized then that I was out of a line. It was a little over his head, and that's okay though. I try to be under the radar now. And when I started out here, I was the golden boy. I was the man making the sales, and but still, things are really good. They're good now. They're okay. They could be a little better, I guess. Okay. Oh, it's maudlin now, you know?
I love how the holier-than-thou mentality, but like apologizing for it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm a little above them, but it's okay.
When you watch yourself, do you think you're funny?
Sometimes. I don't watch them all very much, but because it's just so weird. Because I come up, I just seem it's such an odd. The character's so odd.
Right.
And but I have seen things come up. I was on I think it's American Airlines that plays The Office.
Yes.
Yeah, American. And I was flying to somewhere, and the Survivor man came up, and there was a scene with with John Krasinski and I about the pie, and I laughed pretty hard. That we did that like a mammoth play.
Oh, right.
So there's some moments. It was really fast.
Yeah, really fast and like a lot of half said words.
Yes, just boom, 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 boom. And so sometimes I will chuckle, but other times I go, I'd like to do it over again. But most of the time, I just have to let it go.
Yeah, of course.
And move on.
And that's actually probably, I'm sure, very satisfying to laugh. It's not in a an amazing person kind of way, but you're enjoying what you did and recognizing as funny, which most people see anyway. So.
I never get tired of people coming up and saying that they really love the character. It makes me feel good, and I'm glad to, like I say, it's a gift to make people laugh.
Of course, and it's not just. I'm sure with that and the Creed on The Office, it's more than just becoming this person that someone else wrote. I mean, this is really like, it's not only based on you, but it's something you created and then acted out. So in so many ways, it's very special to you. I'm sure it feels
very
great.
special.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, the writers took it far beyond, and just was killing people and
right.
Now, do people, when they meet you in person, do they ever like think you are really that person?
There's people that are disappointed that I'm not odd. There's other people, like I tell the story. It's true at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, one of them or the other. I'm there shopping, and third season or so, and a woman with her child, she sees me coming, and she goes, and she pushes the child over like this to her side, like this, and kind of makes a nervous little step. I said, "Oh, please!" I went to her. Are you kidding me? I said,
my God. Well, hey, what you're doing works.
Then I thought later that it's a compliment.
It is,
right?
But that's really
you were
funny.
really selling that character.
She protected her child from you.
I wouldn't, because she didn't know what
She was
what
like,
he was
what's
going to do. What's going to
happen?
steal him? Maybe.
Oh my
You
God!
should have just made a point. Like,
Yeah.
No, you don't
Mine.
do that in
My
public.
child now.
No,
Mine.
no.
Or you should have maybe gotten a little close and stared a little awkwardly and then laughed maybe or something. That'd be funny to kind of...
you had to be very careful in
I'm
real life,
sure.
especially when you're me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people might take it really the wrong way, you know.
That's true.
We've seen, so I mean, you obviously, like we said, had a colorful past, colorful career. There's a couple, who needs Kevin Bacon when there's 6 degrees, 7 degrees of Creed Bratton, because we have a couple connections here. Brandon Olive is a very good friend of mine.
Oh yes,
And so
yes,
is
and then
Scotty Crow.
we did the thing together. You see
Yes.
the thing we did
Yes.
for What's Next?
You know what? He just sent an email about that, and so I haven't seen anything from it, but I know
It's
about
pretty
it.
funny.
I
It's
wanna
pretty
see
funny,
it.
yeah.
And then also Scotty Crow and Ashland Half Night with there was a tree or what was
Yes,
right.
there was a tree. That was I played this crazy like a James Lipton
I could totally see that.
critic,
I could totally see
critic
that.
of the theater.
Yes. Oh my God, did you talk like
and
that
he was
too?
very fair, and
Yes.
he talked. Yeah.
That's perfect.
I just don't know. I just think like you. He was very good to talk like that.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
You have such a great voice and like such a fun personality, but it would be, I can't imagine you needing to put a voice on, but that's actually pretty perfect.
I also played. Do you ever hear the movie I did, The Ghastly Love of Johnny X, where I played this star, Mickey O'Flynn.
Oh gosh.
And he's an alien,
Oh.
and he dies on. He's dead, and his son comes in with this resurrection suit. They're all aliens, and brings him back to life. So he resumes his rock and roll career in this comedy musical. Except he's now kind of like his face is a little bit falling off, and I have 2 hours of prosthetic makeup every day. It's very campy and pretty funny.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like we should see you on Broadway or something. Would you ever do something like that?
I wonder if I have a picture. Oh, yeah, I'd like to do Broadway. I've talked to a few people about that. No, I'm not afraid of that at all. I'm not afraid of that at
I don't think
all.
there's many things you're afraid
No,
of over
and
here.
in fact, you have a new show called Feather Peak.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Real quick.
Feather Peak I wrote it with Charles Canzaneri, and it was about just as The Office was over. I had this script for a film called Feather Peak, and I was talking to him about it, and he was saying, "Well, you know what the deal is right now. I can really see you working on doing another TV." And it was obvious that I needed to go off and do maybe not an exact spin-off, but something else.
Right.
Keeping not too far from that Creed character.
Right.
Because that's where your bread is buttered.
I was going
right?
to say, and everyone loves it. If it ain't broke.
So I wrote out an idea for a thing called Caregivers, and I wrote all these characters and I gave them to him, and he really liked it. So we started working together on it. We've worked 2 years now. We have a lady named Danielle Jari. She's working as a literary agent, and we're selling it out there, trying to get it greenlit. And I've written 4 songs for it, and it's something very close to my heart.
Good.
And it's about I think I mentioned this to you before about people when they're passing on to the other side, when they're dying. It's hard for them to let go of things, maybe an anger to a loved one or something, unrequited love, or perhaps, and they die in fear, and my character does not allow that to happen.
So you help them resolve issues, and then they can move past.
Exactly.
And it's a comedy, though.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Obviously,
it's a comedy. We have to base it on reality, though.
Of course.
Right.
You know.
Which is
or
that much funnier.
Or my form of reality.
I like it.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you.
So great. Then we'll keep our eyes open for that for sure.
Good.
And then right now you're touring. So tell.
Starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow.
So where can the listeners and your fans see you? Plug whatever, promote whatever you want with that, so they can look for you.
Well, I'm glad you asked me that. I'll be.
Tell us.
In your neighborhood tomorrow, Sacramento, and then Napa. And then Fresno, California, then San Luis, and then end up in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And then a few weeks later, I'll be up in Montana, Canada, British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon.
What a tour!
And
so
then I'll be going. Go ahead.
What can people expect from your show?
It's the show I've been doing since I was on The Office. When we're on hiatus, I go out, I play a couple of grassroots songs, I play my original tunes. And I talk about my experiences like we did tonight.
Yeah.
Except I tell all the funny stuff when I'm on the stage.
Perfect.
So it's a one-man show.
It's a big one.
Boom.
But
the joke was I was holding out on the show.
See
that? See where I went with that?
We saw where you went with that. We think we got some exclusives.
I think you did. I think you did too.
And then also, where can everyone find you on? You have a website.
CreedBratton.com.
And that's where all your info is.
Yeah. And you can find me on
history,
Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that.
All at Creed Bratton.
That's it.
But find the real one, not the three other copycats.
There's other people who are trying to be as fantastic as this guy, and it's just they're all imitations.
They're just interesting. He's fantastic.
I've had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming in, you guys. And we are very, very thankful that we got to be with the most fantastic man in the world. Cheers to that, right? Give us a little cheers over here, guys.
All right.
Thank you for watching.
Cheers, everybody.
At Spotlight On here at AfterBuzz TV. And you can find me at Lauren Leonelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, and my website.
And you can find me, Jenifer Golden, everywhere at Jenifer Golden.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.